Hello and welcome to the video accompanying the AMBIT pre-training audit exercise.
I'm Liz Cracknell and I'm one of the trainers on the AMBIT project here at the Anna Freud Centre. When I'm not working with the AMBIT project, I'm a nurse in Cambridgeshire and I work for a team who looks after young people who have drug and alcohol problems and other comorbidities.
And I'm John Lincoln, also a trainer at the Anna Freud Centre and work in child and adolescent mental health in South London, working with young people with serious mental health difficulties.
So the idea of this video is just to give you a quick overview of the AMBIT model and then to set you on your way with the exercise that we'd like you to do. So AMBIT is a mentalisation-based approach for teams in a variety of settings who work with high-risk young people who have multiple complex problems and who have a poor relationship to help. Those young people who are sometimes referred to as the hard to reach. So far, at the time of making this video, we've trained in excess of 90 teams in the UK and around the world.
On the screen now is a picture of the AMBIT wheel. This is a picture of the AMBIT model and we will describe this in more detail in a minute. For now, just notice that mentalising is at the centre of the wheel and it is central to the AMBIT model. So what is the meaning of this word mentalising? So mentalising is a form of imaginative mental activity, namely perceiving and interpreting human behaviour in terms of needs, desires, feelings, beliefs, goals, purposes and reasons. So it's about how you use your understanding of thoughts and feelings to make sense of behaviour in social relationships.
Mentalising is something that all of you do already. It's the activity that's happening in your mind when you're trying to make sense of your own behaviour. And it's the same activity that's happening in your mind when you're trying to make sense of another's behaviour in terms of what's going on for them in their mind.
The human capacity to mentalise oneself or another person is fragile and can be easily disrupted when in states of stress. As stress levels increase, mentalising decreases. You will see that inhibition of the capacity to mentalise is not something that just happens to our clients. It happens to workers too. When mentalising decreases, it makes it very difficult to understand and make sense of behaviour. When this happens, relationships come under strain and can break down.
We haven't got time to describe the whole model here in detail, but we can give a brief overview. As John's just said, our capacity to mentalise is diminished in times of stress. And the work with young people with complex problems is stressful, it's anxiety provoking, and that's one of the main assumptions of AMBIT. And so AMBIT is interested in how do we maintain our own capacity to keep mentalising and create a team culture of actively supporting one another's mentalising. How do we use a mentalising stance in our work with clients and promote their mentalising? How do we make sense of and help young people to make sense of the complex networks of professionals that often organise themselves around our clients? And how do we, if you like, keep on mentalising the team mind? How can teams create a culture where it's possible to keep learning and to find that balance between evidence-based practice on the one hand and your local expertise about what you know works well in your team, in your area with your client group?
There is emerging evidence for the mentalisation-based models, and here are a few publications where further information can be found. We also encourage you to go to the website tiddlymanuals.com and follow the links to AMBIT. There you will find the AMBIT Wiki Manual, which contains a wealth of further information on this approach to helping high-risk, non-help seeking young people. Okay, so let's just have a discussion about exactly what we're asking the teams to do.
Yeah, so I suppose if teams are watching this video, it's because someone from the team has been interested in whether AMBIT might be a helpful approach for them. And so at this stage, it's most likely that one or more of the team has already met with someone from the AMBIT project team for a kind of consultation.
Sure. And what we're actually asking the team to do is what we call the pre-training team audit, which in a way is a kind of application that helps us make sense of whether AMBIT will be useful to this team in their particular context.
Yeah, and I suppose the other side of it is that if the team do go on to do the training, the audit form becomes the way that we try to make sure that that training is as relevant and as helpful as possible for that team. So I guess the thinking is the more that we've got a kind of a fairly accurate image in our mind of what it is to be this team doing the work that they do, what they're already very experienced in, what their challenges are, and what their training goals are, the more that we'll be able to make the training into something that they genuinely go away feeling has been helpful.
So although we have a kind of basic curriculum that we want to share with teams, actually we don't just want to roll that out. We're really interested in the fit between what we have to bring from a mentalising perspective and what the team is currently doing in their own context. Yeah,
so while the team is filling out this form, I'd really encourage them to think about what it is that we would need to know as trainers to be able to do that, to be able to make this training relevant and genuinely helpful for them.
So part A of the form is really basic demographics about the team and the client group that are being worked with, and part B of the form is the really important part.
Yeah, so part A could probably be filled out by the team leader or an administrator, but it's the team activity that we're talking about in this video that is part B. It probably takes 45 minutes to an hour to do, and we would recommend that you allocate someone to be a sort of a chair or facilitator who is keeping things to time, making sure that we're getting views from everybody.
Because we really want to hear the kind of range of perspectives that would automatically and naturally be held within a team.
Yeah, so we're not just interested in getting a kind of a unified response, but to tell us the richness of the different points of view. That's really, really helpful. And then it's also quite helpful to have someone different to be a kind of a scribe to record the conversation.
Yeah, so there are 4 questions that need to be discussed, thought about together in terms of the sorts of strengths of the team, the sorts of difficulties and challenges that the team faces, and some questions about how the team thinks AMBIT can be held within their structures.
So we look forward to reading your responses.